Hello and welcome to iTradeAIMS.net. This is Imi. I hope you are doing well. Today, Friday the 22nd of October, I want to share with you the story so far. I have marked this chart. It might look busy, but we're going to go through it one by one, and I will also show you the normal chart after that. So that's the London Open. London opened breaking the previous range. This smaller range. There was a higher range going on. I was a little bit confused. I was looking at the 5-minute chart. It was kind of oblique going down, but actually it was a range. So a bullish candle with a tail down here, so fails here, goes back up, but the next candles cannot break the high. Creates the high, and I pay attention to this. So this does not break it, comes down, creates a 1, and attempts to break it, but does not break it. Goes all the way down and tries to break this low. So that's the London Open low, the first candle. But immediately there's a failure. And with the failure, it's a strong reversal, a bull candle, which is now giving us information. Another bull candle, and then price comes down with a bear candle, making us think probably it's going down, but this was telling us something. So I marked this level, price comes to it, gets rejected, and immediately creates an impulse move. So that's a very strong impulse candle. I'm watching these levels. What is it going to do? It actually breaks the London Open high and then creates a 2-candle pullback. We have a 2 with a nice lovely tail, so it's a cherry, and your entry would be just above the high. There were some levels to the left further, but the story of the low bot was up, down, up again, retest, best setup. It was a bit iffy to start with, but also if you have experience, if you've seen it many times, you know that when it does this, creates this range, the bots buy here and they try to sell here, but it pulls back. You have a fresh cross, you have an impulse move, you have 2 signal touching, the 10 and 20 are rising, it's a fresh cross and rising. And there's a possibility of a breakout. That's the low bot. Breaks out strong. If you have a 2R target, it's hit here. Right here. If it's a 3R target, it's hit here. If you're trailing candles, that's a 2.5 or 3R. That was my first entry. Got hit. 2R. Pulls back. I have a strong bear candle with a tail sticking, so I don't really like that. And price has created this gap between 10 EMA and that, but at the same time I can call it the high tide flag, because it's just the first breakout. So usually this will be either followed by a pause or a second leg up, and so I took that. So over here, what I consider this is as one move down, so that's one, and then this attempt over here, this little failure, that gives me the new high, then comes down, breaks the previous low, so that gives me the new low. So that's my low 1, that's my low 2, that's my high 1, that's my high 2. So that's my 2-legged pullback, and as soon as this candle happens, the bullish candle, I need that after this, I can go long right here at the close with stop loss below these 2 candles. If I did that, I would have hit 2R, but I actually just went with buy bar. So I just went slightly above here with stop loss down there. Went up, hit some levels to the left. Don't need to discuss that, but we have a big tail, clearly telling you that sellers have come in. They've taken profits or something's happening. So I quickly took 1R, because this was my opportunity to either take a scalp or a 2R. My 2R was here. It missed it by 2 points. So I didn't want to turn this to a break even. I took my 1R, so that's 2R here, plus 1 here. Let's have a look at the Discord as well. That was the first entry. Got in here on one account, and I think there was another one as well. Here we go. That's the 2R on the first account. It went up, nice lovely positive slippage. Stop loss was here, entry here, got 2R hit nicely. This other account, However, that's the second entry, yes. So the first entry here, the second entry up there, and then stop loss down here. Meanwhile, the second account, this one, I just trailed I was trailing the fractal up to here, but when it moved like so, pushing up, I started trailing the candle. And so the trail candle got us exit here. So entry was here, exit there. On the second leg pullback, we did that. And for that second trade, so the first, this is on the first account, 2R was hit, then I got back in. So in a way, it's one trade, two entries, right? Whereas in this case, it's just one trade allowed to pull back once, and then when it was trying to pull back second time, we got out. So that's that, and I think after that there's this third trade. Now, I don't usually like taking this, but I'm forcing myself sometimes to take them, because if you have 2R and then 1R, 3R, and that was my logic. If I have 3R sitting there, I can reinvest 1R to see if I can make another 2R. So, you know, this could have turned into 5R, but stayed there. So let's go to the story of the market. So then it comes back, and so one, we have the tail. The tail is something that we don't like, right? It's a big kind of, it actually is a fruit bearish candle. We don't really like that for our pullbacks. And then the pullback itself, if you look at this one, we have a strong move, but this is not a trend candle because it has a tail. It is a reversal candle, but it was followed by a doji. That was then followed by an outside trend candle, but that was immediately rejected by the bullish candle, and price is nearly the same. It didn't even go too much far below this one. But if you look at this one, the first candle closed inside the range. It closed very low, lower quarter of this entire range. The next candle is a bearish trend candle closing right at the low, followed by another trend candle, and then another one with a tail up there. That then was followed by a doji type bullish candle. It's not a strong outside candle. So entry above this would be a little bit risky, but entry above this is not very enticing, because now it's telling you that, okay, there was an onslaught, it was going down, but then it found some foundation here, and now it wants to go back up. Could happen. So we took a trade, went up, and it was then followed by a clear rejection here. By this time, 1R move had happened, so we had moved stop loss to break even and exited break even. Well done, Darren. And when this happened, 3 candles later here, now you see that you have a high here, and now you have a high which is lower than the previous high, and you already have a higher low. So this is the formation of a trading range that's happening. In this case though, as soon as the trading range was formed, the low of the trading range was broken with 4 impulse candles, followed by a pullback that retests the previous highs, right? Previous lows. And then there's a confirmation candle, a break, then a retest with a confirmation bear candle, the first point of entry after a trend change. So this is trend up, this is termination, this is trend change, because that's the phase 1, breakout phase, trading range, break of the trading range, followed by impulse move. So that's the impulse move, which allows you to then start thinking about taking a short trade. This was then followed by a 3 candle pullback, followed by a nice bear confirmation candle. In some cases, I would actually, if this close was here, you know, somewhere down here, that would be a lot better for me. I would pull the trigger, market order with stop loss up there, and that allows for a bigger target. Price came down to this level. I was also monitoring, let me extend these levels. So it kind of confused me. I thought maybe that's the end. This is where the trading range will begin. Comes to it, goes back up, I'm watching it. So I took a trade here, but then I got out quickly. And the reason I got out was that I had a PO here and it got filled here. So there was a higher chance of getting an even bigger than 1% loss. So for that reason, I quickly took my profit. If my entry was there, I would have stayed in it. Never mind, it came back up, touched the 10, creates a 2. I went short here, stop loss up there, and I actually wrote in the chat room that, yeah, here's the trade. So instead of entry here, my fill was here. 2R would be far. I wouldn't be getting 2R, and my stop loss was more than 1R. So in that case, when it started to go up, I got out. But I knew the setup was good. I had marked the level, and I knew that if it's creating that wedge, a triangle with a flat base, breakout is going to be strong. Now it's a flat wedge, so breakout can be explosive. And as soon as I said that, it just broke. So 2R was hit straight away. 2, 1, 0. Call this a 0 as well. It was a slight, probably minus 0.1 or 0.2. So if you round it, that's 3 and that's 5. 5R followed by half a risk loss here. I'll explain that. So it comes down here. Previous level, if I extend this box, see the London range low, comes back to it around this time. 2 candle move up. It's not a pullback that I would take. It's followed by a confirmation candle. If you took this, there will be 2 problems with it. One, it's climactic. Actually 3 problems. Climactic. 1 pullback, 2 pullback, 3 pullback, 4 pullback. This is probably 5th pullback. Then it's hit the range lows. That's also a problem. And it's climactic as well. These exhaustion kind of move happen towards the end of the move, of trend. Even then, if you took it, it's okay if you had the profit before. Then it created a 2-legged pullback. So I thought, well, sitting on 5R, 1 up. So that's your high, that's your low. Comes down and starts to go up, so that's your new higher low. So you have 2 lows now waiting for 1 more high, which appeared here. That's high, waiting for a confirmation candle. We have a bear candle, so that's a 2-legged pullback. I pulled the trigger, but knowing all of this, I explained that in the chat room. I know all of that, but I'm still taking a trade, lower probability trade, but I have profits to invest. So what if we can take it to 7R? Immediately it gets rejected. I quickly exit half an R. So went down to 4.5R. Let's call it 4R for the day if we consider this as a loss. So that's your 1. You can have 2 or 3 R's here. Maybe nothing for you here unless you were paying attention to the 2-legged pullback and the high tide flag. And then probably a break even here. No trade here. A good 2R on this. Based on this, this should be just 2R, either on this one or this one. If you didn't take this, you should have actually taken this. In my case, it slipped, so kind of messed up, but then I recovered it here. Otherwise, I would have taken a breakout trade, hits the levels, comes back up, the end of the story.